All right, great. So nice to see everyone that's joined us for the first ever like online public class I've ever taught. Honestly, I don't like teaching online. In all honesty, I have a lot of phobia about my own voice and being recorded, but times being what they are, you know, sacrifices get made by everybody, including myself, out of our comfort zone, right? And so that'll actually work into today's lesson. So if you can see past the dogs, Tristan is going to set up how I want you to sit here in a minute. Cross your shins, one in front of the other, foot underneath the knee. Flex the foot so the knees elevate slightly. So you can see Tristan's feet aren't under her knees. So you really got to work those things across so there's an actual floating of the thigh muscle. Those of you who've been with me before know this helps keep your ribs lifted. It keeps it elevated. Great. So, all right, cool. I don't want to share a screen. We only just want my screen. All right, we'll figure it out. This box? No. Speaker view. I don't know why she's the speaker there. All right. So regardless, place your hands on, sit with your shins crossed, flex your feet deeply. Some of you I can see, so I know if you're not doing it. Glenda, move your feet forward. Thank you. Pratma, yeah, there you go, Shuba. Get those feet under those knees. I can see some of you. You think you get away even though you're on the internet? The teachers reach as far, right? All right, flex your feet deeply. Shuba especially, flex your toes back to your knees. Flex your whole foot. There you go. Nice, like Tristan is. Now, place your hands on your thighs, lift your rib cage up. Drop your shoulders away from your neck. Drop your hips into the block. Press your hands again. Lift the ribs. Exhale, suck the back ribs in. Side rib forward, front rib up. Chin neutral. Move your head back slightly. Let your eyes close. Let your shoulders drop. So you see Tristan's got a nice lifted rib cage if you're looking still, but if not, close your eyes for a minute or four, whatever it takes me to get through this talk, and we'll go on. So with the eyes closed, you're breathing in. The world's been through a lot. And remember that the world isn't some thing that's unknowable. The world is each and every one of us. The world has to change because we're changing. But change is difficult because of the ego. The fourth Yoga Sutra says, identifying with ego, that's all it says. But those three words hold an immense amount of power and knowledge. When we identify with the ego, we identify with those parts of ourselves that have created structure and barriers to protect us from the world pressing on us, right? The people putting you down, the things that don't go right, you know, all that stuff that's in your way of you being you. And then it also protects us against our own selves, against introspection and critical thought. I think there are many times in my life where I've thought, well, nothing's wrong with me. F that other person. F the world for getting in my way. And so that's the ego. And before I identified with it, I was never able to change what part of myself, there it is, what part of myself was really crying for help. So here in this time of turmoil, all the ego defenses come alive. I can't go to work. Well, I'm always the one that's there all the time. Well, I can't be that person. I have to be I can be someone new. I never ask for help. Well, everyone needs help now. And so we have to too pass that away. And let ourselves be, as one of the Swamis once said, liquid gold. Liquid gold can go into any form or any mold and take that shape. And so as we identify those things that hold us back from having joy or being able to move through a situation or find an answer or find peace, that's the ego being hard, not being liquid gold. You have to be like the happy corgi, you know, eternally chill, even in the midst of all the craziness. To have no ego. And this can be very difficult. So when we get on the yoga mat, my friends, when the teacher's there pressuring us to move, or the hips are tight, or the back is hurting, and all of those old stories we would tell ourselves come up. I used to be, I wasn't so tight. At one point I could. That's the ego. And so now's the chance in the yoga practice to take that hardened ego, turn it back to liquid gold that can flow through any shape of life, and let that transfer into our other work, whether it's standing in line at the grocery store, working from home, being far away from home, not able to get back yet. So we can be more than just the roles that we've been practicing being for so long, because we are more than the sum of our problems. We are more than the job we do. We're something grander. And we only get to that grandness by identifying with ego, the fourth Yoga Sutra. So just for the next minute, the eyes closed, still flexing your feet. Spine lifted, back ribs in, side rib forward, front rib up. Breathe into that space and feel the resistance. Not just in your physical body, but that's where it starts, but in the rest of your body, in the rest of yourself. And we'll begin. All right, bring your palms together with your chest, thumbs touching your sternum. Move your index fingers away from the middle, pinky away from ring, so there's some slight spacing. Elbows drop down alongside the rib cage, ribs still lifted. Blow them shortly 3 times and begin. Take a breath. Flex your feet. Back ribs in, side rib forward, front rib up. Bow your head for a moment. Salute the essence of yoga that's inside yourself. Bring your hands into your lap. Let your head rise and your eyes open. All right, very nice. So we'll come to a standing position. If you got a yoga block or anything you're using for your own personal yoga props, remember, you don't have to have the blocks and bolsters. Anything you can use. You don't have a bolster, use a couch cushion. You don't got a block, use some books. So you're going to stand in Tadasana, one block. Place the block between your thighs lengthways. There you go. So Tadasana for a moment. And what we're going to do, because you don't have me like yelling at you really super intensely, we're going to use the honor system for if you're working at home, right? But I'm going to try and give you the best exam and detail that I can give you here with Tristan. So if you look at Tristan, like working on Tadasana, you want to try and make sure that you're squeezing each leg into the center of the block, and then check your knees. One knee might be farther back than the other, like her left knee is pushed back. So she's got to bend it a little bit and then turn her right toes in. So there's an evenness across the knee, not just left to right, but front to back. So one knee is not farther forward than the other. So check your own knees. There you go. And remember, it's never about the hardness of the knee joint, but can you firm up the thigh muscle itself, the front the inside, the outside, and the back side of the leg. So it's very stable if I came by and pushed. Good. So you saw when I pushed, the knee gave a little bit. That should be true. The knee should be soft. But the thigh itself, firm, right? You feel that. Great. Lift all 10 toes up. Remember, just like in the live classes, you won't be able to see all the time, so just do the best you can to listen. I'm not going to rush through this. I don't rush through anything I teach. So when you lift all 10 toes up, again, feel the thighs. Are you flexing the front of the leg, the inside of the leg, the outside, and the back side of the leg, keeping the toes lifted? So that you start to develop that relationship with your own body, right? Not just relying on the teacher to look at you and use whatever talents or insights they have, but you develop your own inner teacher. Very nice, everybody. Really good to see. Now make sure, if you can, your feet are more directly under your hip. I know for a lot of us with that block, that's going to be very challenging. But if your foot is wider than your knee or wider than your hip, you're kind of standing at a V like this, your hips tighten in. Even if it's a little tight, walk the feet closer together. So from hip to knee to heel, it's one contiguous line. Good, nice. I see some of you checking. Very good. Nice, Shubha. Good, Ryan. So in Tadasana, we can really work a bunch of different movement to try and test the thigh strength and test the stability of the legs, which is very important. So stretch both arms straight up. First is extension, right? You always want to work extension first of the body. So as you stretch the side body up, check your legs. Which part of the leg stops squeezing or flexing? The inside, front side, back side, or outside? So we always got to pay attention to those 4 sections of the leg to make sure that they're deeply engaged. And then you got to make sure both sides are doing it. So you saw Tristan just make that big shift, her right thigh pulled in. So she made that adjustment. Flex your left thigh. So you notice, like even in your own body, if you flex one part of a leg, it might feel your body shift. You're starting to find equal center point momentum in the pelvis just from the leg flexion. And that takes time. That takes using the block to feel pressure on the block to make sure that you're working the leg equally. So now this is extension of Tadasana. Very nice. Take your left arm down alongside the body. Slide your left hand down to the knee, moving laterally. Your right arm should be laying towards your ear, not on it. It's not taking a nap. But there should be space between your arm and the ear, but the arm should be extending long. Very nice, everybody. And then check your legs again. Inner, outer, front, and back of leg. Both legs. Toes are still up. Caitlin. Thank you. Shuba. Yeah, there you go. Feel which leg wants to give out. And even if you have to back off of the lateral lean, it's more important to keep the stability of the 4 sections of the leg, each leg, than it is to go super deep into the bend. Because if your legs are not stable, your spine will not be stable. And if your spine is not stable, then what are you doing? You're not paying attention. You're letting your ego drive your practice. If we're here to identify with the ego, then we have to move right up against it clearly. And yoga is always a practice of a magnifying glass to clearly see what's going on with ourselves. And just because you thought this is online and Dustin's not going to be long-winded and talk forever, oh, you're so wrong. Now I don't have an audience to respond to. I'm going to go on forever. You're all stuck in this for like 10 minutes maybe. Like, maybe. Take your left hand up to your right hand. Don't come out. Stay lateral. So both palms tight together. Press the palms tight. Try to seal the space from the pinky side of the hand to the wrist tight together and stretch the arms longer. And notice which leg wants to give out. Tristan's inner left thigh quit. There she goes. Squeeze that block. Crack that block like walnut. The Italy trip's not happening this year, but 2021, crack the block and go. It's never too soon to start advertising for that. All right, bring the bodies up. Good. Right arm down and alongside the body. Very nice, everybody. Good, Ryan, Glenda, Chuba. Naga, nice to see you. Lakshmi. Oh, Leanne's here. Oh, Leanne's in here. Right hand slides down to the right knee. Left arm extends over. And so, yes, your toes are still up. But again, check the inner thigh, outer thigh, front, and back. The 4 quadrants of the leg is what we're going to work on tonight in our standing poses. How do we engage this limb that, once engaged on all parts, stabilizes our pose and changes our entire spinal extension? I know we're all sitting around at home, so this is really a big part of it. So the hamstrings press into the bone, thighs press into the bone, outer in, inner up and in. When you move laterally, try to check which one's going to drop out. So it has to suck in and stay stable. So you have to work that lateral muscle. Very good. Good. The other way you can tell which part of your leg is quitting is in your foot. You can't see your feet, but so check on your own feet. Don't look, do the pose. Feel it, don't see it. Push your right big toe joint down when you go to your right so you can keep that inner right thigh engaged. You'll feel your pelvis shift to the left a little bit if you push that right big toe bone down. Now take your right hand to your left, palms tight together, extend laterally. Don't worry about down, go out as deep as you can towards your right side. Very nice, everybody. So good to see. Let's check on some of the people here that while Tristan suffers. Sophia, good, nice. Good, Karen, nice lateral. Keep your arms straight, everybody. Work more on the straight arms, more than the pressure on the spine. Good. All right, bodies up, arms down. So Tadasana extension up, Tadasana extension laterally. Now we go backwards. So take a breath. For this one, you're going to interlace your fingers behind your head, as we do normally many times before. Try not to grip the fingers tight together, but press the lacing or the webbing of the fingers tight together so the fingers are light. Remember the old rhyme that came out of the Angar school? Lacing tight, fingers light. Hands behind your head. We have to be grateful. She's suffering for our learning here. Push the head into the hands. Push the hands into the head. You've all done this. Move the elbows back. Now, this is usually what we do to open up the upper back, but before we start a backward bend, we want to open the chest so we can get real lift. Work the legs, inner, outer, front, back, and then lift your chest up and lean back the head into the hands harder. And instead of stretching just the head back, go to the points of your elbows and lean and stretch those back. So your lateral body kicks up and then opens into the pose. Woo. Try it again. So from rib to armpit, armpit to elbow, extend backwards. Very nice. Quads, thank you. I'm trying not to. Heads back, tilt the head back. Use the head to guide where the arms are going to go. Then use the lateral muscles to pick your arms up, to hold your neck safe, and stretch your upper body back any degree. You don't have to bend deeply in the back to get a lot of flexion in the spine. And now feel your legs. Are the front of the thighs flexed so the quad is lifted, the knee is lifted? Are the inner thighs adducting into the block? Are the outer thighs keeping the hips pinned? And are the hamstrings lifting the buttock and pinching to the bone? Now, ready for the fun part? You could stay in this pose and hold it. Take a breath. You're not going to stretch your arms straight up, but you're going to stretch your arms straight back. Woo! Nice, everybody. Take a breath. Good, Shuba. Good, Tristan. Nice. I should say nice to you. You're doing really good. I'm going to get in trouble here. That's pretty good. All right, bring your bodies up. Good, arms down. Not too bad? Any insights you want to give the class?
Oh, I had great Achilles is burning.
Your right Achilles is burning? That's good. It means it's working.
Yeah.
Nice. Take your block out. Go ahead, take your blocks out. Stand wide on your yoga mats, about 3.5 to 4 foot apart. Give you a second to get there. Place one block on the back side of your right foot. We'll keep working out camera stuff so I don't have to move it all the time. We're doing what we can. Turn your right toes out towards the door. Both legs straight. So even here, prepping for any number of standing poses where the right foot is turned out, the left foot is turned forward still. So you're in the L stance. I'll keep the camera there. Can you work your legs in the same manner you did in Tadasana? Especially the turned out leg. So your front quad is flexed, not to push the knee down, because the hamstring is pulling up. There you go. The inner thigh flexes into the bone. The outer thigh flexes into the bone forward. Same on your back leg. Front thigh lifted, thigh lifted, thigh lifted. So all of that's stable now. Because if you feel that, if you really are flexing, you're going to feel your pelvic make these little micro shifts. And when you make these micro adjustments, what you're doing is you're freeing up a lot of the pelvic muscles, the inner psoas, and the lower back. Because we don't have our teachers around us right now all the time, we have to do what we can on our own. Get real subtle with it. Don't pick on yourself, but demand to know more about yourself. That's why we go on dates with other people. We want to know who they are. If you haven't been on a date with yourself, take yourself out to a nice, I don't know, oven dinner. We can't go out and eat. So. All right, Virabhadrasana 2. Put the hands behind the head. Same action you just did. Elbows back, lacing tight, fingers light. And when you bend the right knee into Vira 2, don't worry, just keep the arms back. Bend the knee, stretch the thigh out, and pause. Check your left leg first. Is the front thigh flexed, inner thigh flexed back and outer? So that quad's active. Because the more you activate the front thigh, the more your chest lifts. The more you activate your inner thigh, the more you can roll your hip open. The more you activate your outer thigh, the more the hip drops. And the more you activate your hamstring, the more you can lean back. Yeah, see? Now, do the same on your right leg. Front thigh, the more the front of the upper quad is active, the more you can push down through the foot, which opens your groin. The more your inner thigh stretches to the knee and into the bone, the more you can rotate the thigh bone open, opening the groin. Hamstring flexes, pushes up into the bone, makes you feel like you can go wider and wider in the hips. It opens the pelvis. And then the right buttock to the right outer thigh is what levels the pelvis up from the twist to level open pelvis. Tristan's wearing a lot of black, so you can't see too detailed, but you got to play on home, right? This is about you learning. Are we aware? Yeah. You don't have to answer at home, but it's fun along if you do. Take a breath. Finish the pose. Keep the arms, extend. And just for fun, can you activate your arms the same way that you activate your legs? Inner arm to the bone, tricep to the bone, and that takes bending the elbow. Outer arm and then bicep to the bone. All of that adheres to the bone so it can extend. As you can see the difference on the side that I adjusted versus the side that I didn't. There she goes. She's got it now. What a badass. Hold until I get back. This is such a mom and pop operation right now. I have to be the lighting crew and the yoga teacher. There we go. All right, straighten your legs. Bring your arms down for a second. Woo! Not too bad. Turn your right toes in, turn your left toes out. We're gonna add to this, but I want you to start feeling it. Left toes turned out away from your right foot, so your feet are in the L stance, as you can see Tristan doing. Traditional work. Before you bend the knee, before you keep diving into the pose, Can you set yourself up to go into the pose with a clear intent to learn something about yourself? And if you can't do that, I would say that's your ego telling you you already know everything. And my question would be, well, why are you here? You could be on Netflix. Go watch Witcher or something if you don't want to learn. You could probably learn a lot from The Witcher. Flex the quad, inner thigh, hamstring, outer thigh. Don't worry, we're going to modify it so you can learn to do this more. Back leg also. Front thigh, move your hip back. Inner thigh opens the groin, releases your spine. Hamstring flex to pick the buttock up, rolls your pelvis to neutral. Outer thigh flex, including the buttock, drops your hip down and really gets into those hip flexors, those tight duck. Yeah, she says yeah. Hands behind your head. Interlace the fingers. Push the lacing tight together so you activate the forearm. You start training the arm to work the same as the rest of the body. Bend the knee, but keep all four sections of the leg engaged. Stretch the thigh out. And you may not go completely level with the thigh. That's okay. You may not be as wide with your legs as you normally do. That's fine. No one cares. Only the ego cares. But the more important thing is, can you set yourself up to learn something about yourself as you're doing it? Not to accomplish some end game idea, but let the process of learning through the pose be the real goal. Besides, we're under a social distance, right? We got to spend more time learning about ourselves, not be distracted by what everyone else is. Re-engage all sections of your leg, front, inner, hamstring, outer, both legs. And now that your legs are strong, lean your body back a little bit. Nice. Take a breath, open your arms, extend out. So again, don't let the joint do the work. Try to flex the inner arm. Flex the top of the arm, the outside and bottom side, so all parts are engaged, the leg and the arm. Very good. Very nice. Good, Caitlin. Glenda, good arms. Ryan, bend your left knee some more, bud. Thank you. Shuba, pick your chest up. Don't lean. Thank you. All right. A few more seconds. I don't have any windows to go open. I guess I'll just pontificate. All right, straighten the legs. Turn your left toes in. All right. Let's go ahead and grab a yoga strap. If you have a strap at home, great. If not, order one. But do follow along as best you can. You're going to take your yoga strap and make a long loop. So you're going to step wide, turn your right toes out. I'll show you on Tristan, and then I'll give you all a minute to get ready. You want your yoga strap to go around the front knee, the right knee just below the kneecap, so not on the joint itself, but on the top of the shin bone. And then all the way down around that back heel. And loop in. So you've got a strap doing a lot of the work of the thigh muscles in this pose. So this gives you a chance to experiment with the legs a little bit more. So I'll give you all about 45 seconds to get that together. Because she's stuck here in this. So again, the right knee is bent. The strap is around the right shin and around the left heel. Your feet should still be about 3 foot to 4 foot wide. So long, wide stances. If you don't have a rope, like I said, might be good to order one right now. Things are delayed. And I'm going to try and keep the props to a minimum. I'm not going to break out the big wood horses or anything crazy like that yet. As this goes on, I might get bored. All right. So you should all be there or catching up. If you don't have a rope, just stand wide and keep practicing with what we can. So when you bend the knee, right, so warrior two, same pose. Right toes turned out, knee bent. The strap's going to hold some of your body weight so you can play in this more. Lift all 10 toes up off of the floor so everything is lifted, the arch is lifted. And experiment with how pressing down through the center of each heel makes your thighs flex more. It does, right? Right. So when you push down through the heel, that helps you engage your thigh. It's very easy when you do this pose to lean into the knee and feel like you're gripping in your toes, right? How many times in classes have you heard me say, keep your toes up? So here, when you take that moment, you really feel how the right quad and left quad gets a lot of its connective power from the heel of the foot. Now, you have to find the rest of the muscles through the foot. Place your big toes down on the floor. Keep your right big toe on the floor. Keep your right knee bent. Pick your right heel 1 inch up off of the floor and hold. What muscles working now? All the outer hamstring, all the outer thigh. The outer right thigh burns when you do this because now that's the muscle set. Push that right big toe down. Thank you. That muscle set is what stabilizes from the right big toe up the leg. So keep that right big toe pressed down. Keep that same power, and now press the heel down, the center of the heel down. So you have 2 working. Feel the difference? You notice how much Tristan's pelvis, her right thigh is opening. And you might notice some different muscle flexion than yours. So that's 2 of the 4. Now, you okay? Pick your right heel up again, 1 inch off the floor. Look at her go. And now push your pinky toe bone down hard. There's your right inner thigh. So you found 3 of the 4 points. So now push the right pinky toe joint down, the big toe bone down, and drop the center of the heel and push it down hard so you have 3 of the 4 muscles working. You feel it, huh? she's doing so good. All right, last one. You have to keep all 3 down. Pinky toe bone, the large metatarsal, the big toe, the center of the heel, and then try and drag the foot towards you a little bit. And that flexes your hamstring. So there's all 4 sections of that thigh. Makes the whole leg work. Now roll your left hip open. Which one did you lose? So that's a question for you to answer for yourself. When you roll the left hip open, which of those 4 actions in the right foot and leg did you lose? Let's go through them one more time and then we'll switch legs. You good? Yeah. Push your right center of your heel hard into the floor. Lift your toes up so you get out of that, everything else. Push your right center down. That's your top quad. Okay? Pick your right heel up off the floor 1 inch. Push your right big toe bone down. Outer quad. Push your right pinky toe joint down. Inner quad. Push all 3 down, big toe bone, and pull the foot towards you like you're trying to drag it across the floor. There's all 4. Now open your pelvis up by moving your left thigh back. And which one do you lose? Your hamstring, right? So that puts it in your knee. So for those of us that lose the hamstring muscle, we'd probably tend to have more inner groin, knee issues over time. For those of us that lose the inner thigh, a lot of knee, a lot of low back pain. A lot of us that lose the upper thigh muscle, we tend to have a lot of collapsed arches, bursa issues in the hip, things like that. We could sit here and name all this out, but you've suffered enough. Straighten your leg. Turn your right toes in, turn your left toes out, switch the strap to the other side. I feel like there needs to be another one of me. So if you ever saw the old Muppet Show, they had Stellar and Waldorf, the old Muppets that would sit in the sit on the balcony and make fun of the show, right? I don't have any good joke for that. I just think that would be fun. Because then I could be like, oh! I never laugh at anyone in their yoga pose. I laugh at yoga, but I don't laugh at the body, right? Very good. All right. 10 more seconds to get set up. Good. Great. All right, so just real check. Strap is around your left shin, below the knee joint, and around your right heel. Good. You're bending your left knee into warrior two. Doesn't have to be perfectly parallel. Chuba, pick your chest up. Now I'm going to keep my eye on you. You too, Pratima. Hi, Phyllis. It's good to see you. Hi, Sopoko. Bend that knee. Yeah, I see you. Thank you. Hi. So good to see everybody. Those of you that are joining. All right. All right. So we're going to go through it again on this side twice, because once you start to learn the language twice, you get a grasp for it. We should do it 3 times, but I want to leave you something to do at home. Strap's going to hold your weight, so you get to experiment. So start with the front leg. Center of the left heel descends down, so you activate the left quad. This is not, I want to be clear, this is not you pushing your pelvis against the strap. This is you descending the femur bone, heel, down into the floor. So you get this line of action that transfers from up in the quad to down, not out. If you push out against the strap, if you did not have the strap, you would just hurt the knee joint. So then, there's your quad. Pick your left heel up 1 inch, push the big toe bone down. And I'm very clear, I don't want the joint. The joint's going to press down, but I want the big toe bone itself to push hard. You'll feel your calf cramp a little bit if you do it. Well, you might. I do all the time. Not great. So there's your inner thigh, right? Or your outer thigh, excuse me, outer thigh. So now, keep your left big toe bone pushing down. Push your left center of the heel down. Don't lose the left toe at all. So now you've got outer and upper. Take a breath. Remember to breathe. Take your heel up 1 inch. Push the left pinky toe joint down. And then descend the heel and the big toe bone. So now you have the 3, the 4. So now your inner, upper, outer are flexing. So keep those 3 points and then drag the yoga mat. Constrict like you're trying to bend the knee by pulling the heel closer to your other foot. You're not actually going to slide it across the mat, but you're constricting it so this hamstring flexes. And then you might feel like the strap's too narrow. It's constraining you, and that would be correct over time, because what that is your pelvis is actually getting to release. The inner groin muscles, the spine gets to open. This is what leads to the very open hips in this, where you see the teacher has that perfectly parallel thigh to the floor. Without the support of the structure of your legs, your pelvis does not open, your spine does not release. All right, I'm going to go over it again. Center of the heel. Lift the 10 toes up, even on the back foot. We'll get to the back foot in a minute. So center of the heel descending. Lovely. Pick the heel up 1 inch. Push the big toe bone of the left foot down. Keep the strap tight. Pinky toe joint down and big toe joint down. So now you have the inner and outer. Center of the heel comes down. Don't lose either of the other two. If you lose either of the other two, you're really going to start to fight yourself. And then try and slide the foot to you. So it's a bend of the knee, not a straightening of the leg or moving of the hip, but you're trying to pull that calf, that foot towards the back foot. And then open your right hip up behind you. Open up the front of the pelvis. Very nice. You can see Tristan's leaning a little bit to her right leg. There she goes. She's going to lift up. I like she's wearing the shirt that says focus like 5 times. It's like her inner mantra for getting through life with me. A few more seconds. Big toe bone, pinky toe joint, center of the heel. Try and drag the foot along the mat so you feel that quad flex. So there's the stability of your leg in a wide open pose. All right, straighten the leg. Still with us? Good. All right. Turn the right toes out, Tristan. Everyone watch for a second. I'm going to set her up. Step forward. Turn your right toes out. I would like for you to take the strap around the right thigh, about the middle of the thigh, not up in the groin, definitely not near the knee, but right middle thigh. Then you want the loop around your left heel.
I'm sweating, so I'm slipping.
And buckles up. It should be fairly snug because when you do triangle, utahita, the strap will loosen, so you want it fairly tight. You don't want it tight enough that it's overlocking the knee, so have 30 seconds or so to set up. Put your back. Pick your back heel up. All right, 10 seconds. Turn your left toes in. Don't get lazy with your foot placement. So you want that strap under your left heel, not under the toes. Because if it's under your toes, you're going to crinkle your poor little toe joint. You want it under the outer left heel so you can push down on it better. The same stuff you just learned in the last pose are going to apply to this pose. I once had the question of, well, if it's going to be the same thing from pose to pose, why do I do it? And my teacher said, well, because you're not the same person in every pose. To be fair, no one actually ever said that to me. That's my own inner brain talking. Right? I always tell the story of the inner teacher, right? I told that story a lot. All right. So Utthita Trikonasana from the legs. This will actually help with one of the hardest parts about triangle, which is not locking the knee. I cannot tell you how many times I've gotten onto myself and other students about this. So stretch your arms out. Reach the right arm over the right leg as far as you can and take your right hand to the block. If you do not have a block or do not have a strap for your leg, your left hand can come down and push on your thigh a little bit. This is okay, but I would prefer you have a strap that is tight so it feels like it's pressing against your quad. You can press your quad up into it. But again, if you do not have a strap, you can use your left hand on your thigh to push down a little. All right, great. So here we go. So here we have Tristan in the pose. Most of the time when I see people in this, what I see a lot is a locking of the right knee. So if I'm going to ask Tristan to do it wrong, lock your right knee. Everybody, just lock your right knee, straighten it out. Just don't hurt yourself just for a brief second and feel what happens in your right Achilles tendon. If you don't know where that is, it's this part right here. That little part, it collapses. When you push your right thigh up into the strap really hard, more, so your knee has to bend softly and the hamstring has to lift up. Sound familiar? You're flexing the hamstring to flex into the strap. Your Achilles tendon lifts a little. It saves your ankle joint. People with bad ankles should learn to do this. It stabilizes the ankle. So this is almost bending your knee too much. It's not bending the knee out away from you. It's picking the hamstring and the femur bone up into the strap as hard as you can. So it's a lift from about where the strap is on the thigh. It'll make you feel it in the hip a little bit. Ready for the fun part? Keep that leg active on that strap. Here we go. Pick your right heel up 1 inch off the floor. Woo! I know some of you are cramping at home. Don't. I'm cramping for you. I'm not, but. Now, pin the right big toe down, because we know that activates the outer thigh, right? Right. Now pin the center of your right heel down while keeping the right big toe bone down. Try that again, Tristan. That was sloppy. Right big toe bone in the floor. Learn to keep it there. Now center of the heel down. Ooh, are we aware? There's 2 out of the 4. All right. 3 out of the 4. Pick your right heel up off the floor. Pin your pinky toe joint down, big toe bone down, center of the heel down all at the same time. So there's your inner thigh, outer thigh, top of thigh. Not pushing it out. It's a descent of those 3 points. And then your hamstring happens very similar. Can you drag the foot towards you, which makes you push your femur bone up into that strap? You'll notice Tristan's gone down lower because her hips are open. Are we aware? Great. So I did say what's going to happen to the back leg too. Remember, you got 2 legs in every pose. Sure. That if you still have both your legs. Back leg. So left foot now. Keep your right leg as best you can. Pick your left heel up 1 inch off the floor. Keep pushing your leg against the strap so your right leg stays active. Left big toe flattens into the floor hard. Push the center of the heel down. Woo! Notice that big toe bone wants to pop up. Do not let it. Do not live in the joint. Put pressure in the toe bone itself, the length of it. Pick your left heel up another inch. Left pinky toe joint into the floor. Try to not turn your toes out. If you notice, Tristan just turned her foot out when she did this. So you got to push that heel against the strap. The strap is your teacher right now. You can also put your foot up against the wall to help this. Push the pinky toe joint down. Big toe bone down. Center of the heel down, all at the same time. Wow. And then, to get the hamstring, pull the left foot towards the right foot. Now, can you do all 4 on each leg? I'll talk you through it. Last 10 seconds. Both big toe bones down. Both pinky toe joints down. Center of each heel down. And then constrict both feet towards each other. Take a breath. Even though some of you don't have your cameras on. Yeah, I know. But I know what you're doing. All right. Exhale. Keep the legs strong. Keep all 4 points. Pick yourself up on the strength of your legs. Wobble a little bit because, you know, we learned to fail with joy. Good. All right. Switch sides. Have 20 seconds. Cramping. Your left Achilles tendon's burning. Yeah. So one of the things, while Tristan gets set up, one of the things that can happen when we start working on the legs like this, if you've ever had rolled ankles, bad Achilles tendons, tears of the ankle joint or the knee joint, a lot of muscle cramping or ache can come up, because when we have those kind of issues, certain muscles in the body stop functioning fully. We have to just really start practicing without them for a long time, and we do this all the time in our life. Right? You ever fall on an arm and you don't use it for a while? Yoga is a way to really start changing that. And that's, again, another ego story. Before I started yoga, I lived telling myself I could not be the athletic guy or the very strong guy because I was the muscularly sick guy. And that was an ego telling me to tell that story because I would be protected against others' expectations of me. That, you know, an 18, 19, 20-year-old man should be doing a lot more active things. But, you know, the ego told me not to do that. That way I didn't have to face my own pain and problems. I could just say I wasn't. So, you know, as this practice goes on, not just tonight, but your yoga's practice goes forward, remember, identifying with the ego is the fourth sutra. It's about connecting to who we are and the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves so we don't have to dive deeper. It keeps us away from that liquid gold of the fluid state of being. Ready? She's ready. You should all be ready now. Arms out. Reach out over the block, ascend the hip, full extension from the hip out. So if I got a stick of truth out, and boy, do you know I got them. This should be a line. So slide your hand up that stick. Ah, much better. Come on. Close the gap. Very good. Take the hand to the block. Take your hand to your hip. Good. So start working the foot. So you notice the first thing we do without engaging the leg is we work from the knee. So push the thigh up into the strap. And again, if you don't have a strap, your right hand can come down onto the thigh and give the same pressure the strap is. So you have to be able to press up into something. Left heel, 1 inch up off the floor. Big toe bone down. Keep pressing it down. Center of the heel descends. Take the left heel up another inch. Pinky toe joint down on the left foot. Center of the heel down. There's your inner thigh, remember. Take your left heel up. Big toe bone, pinky toe joint, center of the heel down, while pressing the thigh into your strap or hand, always engaging that. And then hamstring. Retract the foot along the mat towards the back foot. To retract, so the hamstring lifts and that allows the pelvis to slide across. Are we aware? Are you aware? I'm talking to you, Caitlin. I see you. Very good. All right. So keep your front foot. Engage the back leg. Back heel up 1 inch. Very nice. Left or right big toe down. Pin it. Keep it pinned. Don't let it come up when you take your heel down. That's going into your knee. Push the right center of the heel down as you keep the right big toe bone down. Very good. Take the heel up again. Don't lose your strap. The strap around your thigh or the strap around your heel. Pinky toe joint down. Big toe bone down. Center of the heel down. I know you're getting tired, so I don't want to phase you all through this. We've been at this almost an hour. Great. And now, keep those 3 points on both feet. Drag the feet towards each other, or engage the hamstrings to do so. So there's a lift of the pelvis, and then you can roll the ribs open, and you ascend the spine into the open extension. The spine becomes as straight as a stick of truth instead of a rainbow, because your pelvis is now parallel with itself, the spine becomes parallel. And then as the groin pelvis opens, the spine descends in a more lateral form. Safely. Does not become about pressure on your neck or back. I say neck because people get a lot of neck pain in this. Lean back. Everybody lean back. Very good. 10 more seconds. Keep the 3 points of the foot to keep all 4 points of the leg. Bring your body up on the strength of your legs. Much better. Take the strap off. Well done, everybody. Woo. Good. Lay on your backs. All right, watch for a second. So I get Tristan set up. So with Tristan laying on her back, she's going to stretch both legs straight out. You're going to take your strap in its loop. If you have a strap, don't worry, I'll give you something to do if you don't have a strap. It goes around your left heel. Sorry, I'm in the way. Left heel, and you're going to pick your right knee up towards your hip. You want to stack the right knee above the right hip joint. So you have something like this going on. Not too bad. All right. If you do not have a yoga strap, you should be able to place your left foot against some surface, a chair leg that won't move, a table, a wall, a couch, something you can really get some pressure into. And then your right hand goes against your right knee. The knee's at the top. So you can push the two against each other. But if you have the strap will do it. Go get set up. We'll give you 20 seconds. Tired? A little bit. Don't forget this. We're almost at the end of the first hour. After this pose, if you want to drop out because you've got anything else to do, I don't know why. Ain't no one got nowhere to go. If you didn't hear, your dinner reservations are canceled. So you might as well stick around for hour two. Hour two, we'll finish up with another asana. We'll do a pranayama session, and then we'll have a question and answer at the end. Ready? All right, we're all ready. I see a lot of people are rocking. Let's do this. Strap around the left heel. Pull the strap tight. This strap should be tight as my violin string. This is pretty slack. Oh no, your knee's directly over your hip. So if you think your strap is too slack, if you look and your knee is above your hip, it is exactly where it should be. It just means your hamstring's not retracting. That's part of the problem. You're trying to lift with your lower back and your hip to rib. But we'll get to that. Even if you worked right here, this is about how you can engage your core muscles to make your thigh flex harder. A lot of times if you have back pain, doctors will say you might have weak core, and you've probably all heard me say this all the time. It's not that you have a weak core, you have an unengaged core. She's getting really tired of me. Just yeah. So when you break the strap, try to stretch your right buttock towards your left heel. So it's about pushing the outer hip towards the heel of the left leg. So it's almost a tuck and lengthening the outer way from the bottom. It's very hard to do. So what you can do is take your right hand onto your thigh near the hip joint and push it with your thumb. Don't tuck it up so your ribs pop up. Push it away from you. So you have to tuck your buttock under more to get your core muscles to engage. And it'll make your leg get very tired very fast. I'm sure we're all there. I see some of your legs dropping already, so that means we're on the right target. That is your quad. That is your core. It'll feel like you've never used a leg a day in your life. All right, switch your legs up. I'll be kind. This action applies to any of our standing poses that are one-legged bouncing poses. Vrksasana, tree pose, Padangusthasana, the extensions of it. Every one of the one-legged standing poses, there has to be an extension of the hip from the side body. So we're lengthening the side, or we use our low back. This is very minutiae stuff, but I want to give you something really you can play with. So, you know, before I see you again, you've had something to do with yourself. Break the strap. Left leg should be lifted. If you do not have a strap, again, push your right foot into something that's not moving, and push your left hand against your left knee so they fight each other. You have a strap. You're helping. They can listen. Everyone else listening. All right. So now, same thing on the left leg. Can you take your left thumb, hook it against your left thigh where the hip inserts, and push it away from your body towards your right heel? If you feel your left leg and your core muscles have to work harder by having to tuck the buttock, you are correct. Are you there, Tristan? She's there. And you hold for 10 seconds. You start training the muscles of the leg to work in conjunction with the other part. Because now we've taught how the 4 sections of your leg flex, the inner, the outer, the back, and the front. Now we're connecting it to another muscle set, showing you that you have more strength than you knew. or you at least have space to grow into. Very good. Drop the leg down. As Gabriel would say, now is a good time to say thank you, O kind and compassionate one. And even though I can't hear you, you should say thank you to yourself for giving yourself the space to relax when you need to, right? Because the other ego says, I'm the one that can do this no matter what, right? I'm going to make myself hurt or I'm going to fight it. Remember, the part of softening one's ego is compassion, not breaking it, right? You can't break liquid gold. You let it be soft. Other leg again, right knee up. So if you needed to drop out, you needed to go somewhere. I understand if we all got things to do. Now's the time to go. All right. Right leg pulls up on the strap. Right thumb hooks right there at the insertion of the hip into the femur bone and pushes away. So you want the outer right hip to stretch towards the heel and then tuck the right buttock under and up. And then the fun part, keep the strap as tight as you can. This isn't about being perfectly straight of the leg, but it's about keeping the strap tight, Tristan. Try to straighten your leg up. Don't let the strap go loose. Oh no, not the left leg. The left leg stays down. The right leg goes up. Push that hip away from you and tuck your right buttock towards your right knee. There you go. So you feel the back muscles have to flex, the core have to flex, and your quad burns. Are we aware? Nice. So here, quickly, I'm going to go through it. The same rules apply through the foot. Even though there's nothing to press into with your right leg, push your big toe to the ceiling. Push your pinky toe joint to the ceiling. Push your heel to the ceiling and feel how much your leg works and how that strap goes loose. So now tuck your buttock, break the strap. Relax your shoulders, relax your necks. Are we aware? Do we feel our legs? Check the 4 quadrants of your leg. Whichever one is not flexing, that's the point of your foot to extend and work through harder. So for Tristan, pinky toe joint. There we go. 3, 2, relax. Well done. Switch legs. Here we go. Tristan's switching really fast, so she gets the most rest. She doesn't have the same freedom from me that the rest of you do right now. But we do miss you all, and I hope everyone's doing well. But we're going to do better when you pick your left leg up. So pick your left knee up, strap around near the kneecap. You see Tristan's strap is going down. Pick it up, keep it near your knee. Because if you don't have a strap, you want your hand to push against your knee joint near the top of the thigh. Best you can. You can use your other hand so you can hook your thumb into your hip, all that good stuff. You got 2. Left hand hooks into the hip, pushes the hip towards the right heel. And I specifically want you to tuck your left outer hip towards your right heel, because if you just tuck it, you can lean to your left a lot. You actually will tilt the pelvis in some weird ways. You can't see it on the camera right now, but trust me, it's there. So stretch the left leg up. Keep the strap as tight as you can. Even if your leg doesn't go perfectly straight, that's fine. But keep the strap tight so your knee may stay bent. It's more about keeping the strap engaged so you know how to keep your hamstring engaged or your thigh engaged. Right? So even though your foot's in the air, to whatever degree, push your left big toe up, pinky toe joint up, center of the heel up. All 3 at the same time. Because I know for most of us, the moment when I say push that heel up, you pull the other 2 back and you lose the pose. All 3 must ascend to whatever degree that is true. So if I put my fingers, imagine someone pushing against those 3 points on your foot and push them all up. Big toe. More big toe, Tristan. And now push the outer left hip towards your right heel and tuck your left buttock to engage the leg. You may not be able to see it at home, or you may be feeling it yourself. Notice the muscles of your leg engaging, because when all 4 work together, there you go. There's so much power that your mortal form can't take it anymore. 3 more seconds. I hope there's not a delay. Come on out. Rest for a moment. You good? Oh, look, we have so much time left. This is so nice. Take a moment, sit on up. If you have a bolster, I would grab a bolster. If you don't, using anything you might need to prop up the hips, you can sit on a block, cushions for pigeon pose, Rajapitchasana. So Tristan's going to grab her bolster. So if you watch, I'm going to show you how I want you to get into this pose, because it's not so much tonight about how deep a hip stretch we get, because there's so much emphasis on the front leg. There's so much we can learn about the back leg and about this pose and how it affects our spine. So you're going to have your bolster on your mat, and you're going to sit on it with your shins crossed. Press your left in front of your right. So you're going to sit with your left shin crossed in front of your right. Pretty simple way we always sit. So when you have the shin, one shin in front of the other, in this case, the left shin's in front of the right shin, you're going to lean to the right side and swing your left leg around and back without kicking me. That's nice. So you can open your hips up. Get to pigeon pose. Everybody, right leg in front, left leg back. Whatever you need at home to prop your hips up, that's fine. You're going to be in this for a while. So if this is a tough pose for you, I'm going to go over a couple safety features. But there must be some elevation to the hips. If you can get your pelvis on the floor but only hold it for 10 seconds, that's not softening the ego. That's not making molten gold. That's breaking yourself. No, I like this. I want this. A few more seconds to get ready. All right, here we go. The Rajapitchasana. For now, I would ask that you have your hands on the floor in front of your foot so your spine is neutral with your pelvis. This is the neutral position of Rajapitchasana, or pigeon pose, as I like to say, because I think there are 3 positions that are commonly practiced in the United States, one more than the other. Neutral spine is the pelvis and sacral plate is neutral to the rest of the spinal column in the neck. The most common one I see is elbows on the floor. This is the elbows on the floor where your back is rounded and a lot of tension happens. You get a deeper stretch in the hip, but you can tweak your low back. And position 3 is where Tristan started, up and into the backward bend. Hands down. So go for 1 neutral position for right now. Because all 3 of those are going to do different things to the body, but we can affect how much our hip and back get out of this from our leg. If you need to prop yourself up higher than 1 block or 2 bolsters or whatever, please do so. I want you to get as much time out of this as possible. And I know some of us have knee injuries, and this can seem scary. So if you have knee pain in the right knee, you need to be on more height of your hips, or your right foot. If you have pain in your right knee, point your right foot instead of flexing it. If you point your foot, it allows the knee to drop down and to remove some of the tension of the connective tissue up into your knee joint. All right, great. Time to do some back leg. We always get a lot of stretch in the hip on this one, so now we need to go to the back leg. The back leg is a big part of actually how the muscles lift us into the position 3 on this, and how they protect our backs in the lower down, elbows on the floor, position 2. We want to engage the back leg the same as we do in our standing poses. The front of the leg, the inside of the leg, the outside of the leg, and the back of the leg. It can be more challenging here because we don't have the foot to press into, but we have the top of the foot, which can help. You'll hear a lot of, if you've ever been studied with a lot of the older teachers in the Angar system, they'll talk a lot about the nails of the foot, the toenails. So you have to kind of think about the top of your foot like the bottom. If I ask Tristan to push her big toenail down into the floor really hard, that's going to flex her inner thigh. She agrees. Press your pinky toenail down into the floor by itself. Which one is that flex? It's very hard. So probably her hamstring. Hamstring to outer thigh can happen from pinky nail. And it changes when you flip the foot over. It changes the muscles that are moving. So it's going to be different than what you learned when the sole of the foot. This is how complex we are as people. We have so many facets we have to learn about ourselves in different ways. So you don't have a center of the heel, but the action remains the same. Can you flex the quad? Not to push the knee down, but can you stretch the center of the heel back to the world behind you? Because if I were to grab her foot and pull it back, think about something touching the center of your heel and push your heel out against that as you push both your big toe and your pinky toenail down into the earth. What's the difference there, Tristan?
Well, it makes it easier.
If she presses through her heel and the big toe, it makes it easier to press through the pinky toenail. This is how she's learning to engage the inner, outer, and front of her leg. Yes? And so the back of the leg comes from a bend, actually. So for all of you, work this for just the next few moments. Can you press your big toenail down, the center of your heel down without it lifting, and the pinky toenail? This is very important. As you see, our baby puppy is showing you upward dog. So cute. What a show stealer. I don't have enough star power to stop that. All right. Big toenail, pinky toenail, center of the heel. So you can see Tristan's back is starting to kind of drop here in the middle when she does this. This means the mid to low back is starting to release. The pelvis is starting to open. If she stops pressing through her foot, you see how her neck and shoulders pop up, and this kind of tightens up here. Push the big toe, heel, pinky toe down as firm as you can. Push through the center of the heel. The heel doesn't press down. It stretches through the center point. That makes her back wide. You might feel kind of a lift. So hold those three and try the different positions. We're in neutral 1. Try number 2, which is take your elbows to the floor. You might notice a difference. This is much safer on your lower back to remove tension and not give you sciatic pain. Position 3. Bring yourself up on your hands and try to walk your hands back towards the bolster and pick your chest up as much as you can. But work through the center heel. Big toenail, pinky toenail. The nail is pressing down, the heel pressing back. Much easier now, isn't it? Much easier. Not too bad. Go back to neutral. Swing your left leg out the same way you got into it. Well done, everybody. Sit on your bolster or blankets or whatever height. Cross your right shin in front of your left. So with the right shin in front of your left, your right leg is the leg that's going to swing around into the pose. So lean to your left hand, swing the right leg around to the side, move both hands in front of you to neutral position, position 1. Ooh, she says, ooh. Much tighter. Right? Because it's very easy to feel the tightness of the hip, but we want to help this hip open and the low back open so neither of them are overworked by this leg doing its part. So, back center heel. Doesn't press down, it stretches back through. So extend through the hamstring, through the quad to the center heel, as if something was pressing on the center of your heel to push back. Big toe nail down, pinky toe nail down. And if you start feeling your back shift a little from this, you're in the right area. Your leg is doing the work. If you feel your shoulders up into your neck, relax them. Doesn't mean hang your head lower. If you feel like you're wrenching in your low back or crunching your low back, relax it. Let this move. Work the leg. The back leg is the focus right now. This is about, can you work on the limbs to affect the core? Because the core affects the limbs. We're kind of approaching it from that thought pattern today. All right. Big nail down, big toenail down, pinky toenail down, center of the heel, extending. So, position 2, elbows on the floor, everybody. So you get that release of your low back and extension. It feels like you could stretch your spine out rather than curl. It may be a little more. This still is going to be tight in that hip, but you see she can open up a lot deeper into it. Is this different on your left hip now?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
I feel like my body is just going.
Her whole body is
Spreading
widening from the pelvis. It's spreading is what she's saying. Good. Now position 3. Big toe bone nail, pinky toenail, center of the heel stretching back so the spine can pick up. And it may not pick up very high for a lot of us. It doesn't pick up easy for me, but as I spread my pelvis open, my spine gets the ability to lift and begins to lean back. Remember Tadasana? We extended, we lateral moved, and now we're backward bending again. Lateral, in this case, is from the legs instead of the spine. This one feels good. Great. Come on out, hands on the floor. Position 1, neutral your spines. Swing your right leg out. All right. Left shin in front of right. On camera. So left shin in front of right, swing the left leg around. So position 1, neutral hands on floor. Work your back leg more. Big toenail, pinky toenail, center of your heel, extending. So now we're going to add to it. We want to get the quad to work harder. So as you put you're not going to be able to press the nails into the floor anymore, but your leg should activate in the same way. A lot of the instructions you get where you press something into the floor are just there to teach you how to flex those muscle parts and then keep working them in the same way, even though the position changes in respect to surface of the floor. So as Tristan pushes the big toe nail into the floor, she feels what muscle is flexing and working. She tries to keep that mentally. Pinky toenail presses into the floor, tries to remember what that muscle is working up into the leg and into her back. Try to keep it. Center of the heel extending. She feels what that is doing, keep it. This is all for you too, all should be doing it. Then bend your left knee, pulling the foot towards your left buttock. But remember how the foot felt. Keep the foot pointed, because that's the way it was on the floor. Pinky toenail pressing, big toenail pressing, center of the heel extending without flexing the foot. The foot should stay long. But the nails still push, so you feel that same muscular action in the foot. You could practice this pose for hours, bending the knee, and then feeling which of those 3 points you lost. Lowering your foot back to the floor. Everyone lower your foot down. Big toenail, pinky toenail, center of the heel extends, and then try to keep those 3. Pick the foot back up. Go for it. But try to keep the feeling of the foot so it feels up into your leg. Give yourself muscle memory to learn to do this. The puppy is very concerned about your chitty-vritty foot. Like a fish, right? Foot on the floor, one more time, everybody. So left foot's flat on the floor. Pinky toenail, big toenail, pushing down. So you feel the inner muscles of the leg, outer muscles of the leg, center of the heel. And then bend the knee again. Try to pick the foot up without losing the action of that foot, so you learn the action of the leg. And then try position 2, elbows on the floor. So now you're working all parts of your leg, your back leg, and it's going to go through your whole hip and spine. Pick your chest up. Position 3, try it. Woo! You might get a back cramp. I get a lot of back cramps in this one. It's really good for you. I'm happy for you. You didn't think I was going to sneak that in, right? You got to give them the greatest hits. Leg down. Swing your left leg out of the pose, everybody. Well done. Cross your right shin in front of your left. Give you a few seconds. All right. Swing your right leg around to the side and back. Let's see how everyone's doing. Really nice, everybody. Everyone's sticking with it. We're doing good. 17 people here still like it. It's good to see you. All right. Again, start with the 3 points. So you can at least begin to feel where this work is happening. Big toenail, pinky toenail, center of the heel extending. There's length, there's a spread to this, right? No yoga pose says crunch up and find enlightenment. And sometimes in life, it feels like what we're trying to do is the biggest, hardest challenge ever. So can we do it from something small? Doesn't get much smaller than your pinky toenail. Doesn't get much smaller than your big toenail or the center of your heel. But it makes a big difference. We can make little changes to make even the hardest stuff seem bearable or manageable. What a great lesson for the time we're in. All right, Tristan's ready. I hope you're all ready too. I'm watching. So as you push that center heel back, keep the action in the legs and the foot. Can you pick up your right foot off the floor, but keep the leg active in the same way. It may not come up very high, but this is all of the quadrants of your leg being responsible for the safety of your back. Take a couple breaths, feel it. Good job. Bring your foot down. Check in with your foot. Which ones were easy? Which ones were hard? Can you re-engage your big toenail, pinky toenail? Center of the heel stretching back. All right, good. Here we go. Pick up your back foot again. Try to keep the foot and the leg active as it was on the floor. But now you're bringing the quad into it, the hamstring into it deeper. Position 2, elbows on the floor. Woo! Don't lose that foot. Don't lose that leg. If you feel one of them give out, when you practice tomorrow, try practicing position 2 and doing all the foot stuff and the heel stuff, and then pick the leg up. Position 3, chest up. We're starting to get some shakers, so very nice. Pick that foot up. Nicely done. All right, relax. Take your legs out of it. Oh, thank Lord, yeah, it's over. Take a moment. If you have a blanket at home, to get it. I'll show you how I want that folded. If you have a block or another blanket, you can use that to support your head and neck. If you don't have either of those, using a couch cushion is perfectly fine. You just want something to lay on for pranayama. So get your props.
You just took that from the puppy.
I know I just took that from the puppy. The puppy's very sad about that. We're all making sacrifices, and so. All right. So one blanket, if you have it, you're going to tri-fold it. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, tri-fold is folding the blanket into thirds. So you fold it on itself and then back. So you're not creating a roll, but you're creating 3 separate folds laterally. So I'll show you again. Take the long sides over and back on top of itself. So you have a nice flat line. If you have that, you can lay back on that. If you only have a bolster, then you lay back on the bolster. You use a block under the bolster or under your blanket to lay back on. And then stretch your legs out. If you have a couch cushion, you lay back on the couch cushion and put a small pillow under your head. Anything to get a slight lift of the neck from the chest. I'll give you all about 30, 40 seconds to get that set up because I know it takes some time to get props in your house together. And I'll take you through pranayama and we'll go forward. It's always nice to have, like, you know, reference material. All right, 20 more seconds to get set up. Whatever you're getting set up for yourself, make sure you're comfortable in the neck, in the back, and in the shoulders. If you have any low back pain, I might suggest you putting something underneath your knees. Other pillows you might have, bolsters, and the like. Puppy dogs work also. If you're having neck pain, a little more height or less height to the pillow. The thing is when we get into these yoga practices, there is no one size fits all. There's no one equation that fits for everybody. Everybody is so different that we need to be willing to modify for ourselves. Yoga for me taught me a lot of self-compassion and care. The fact that I wasn't the same as anyone else, even though I tried so much in my life to be similar to everyone else. I had to let my ego go so I could see that I was different. I had to be soft. Like the Swami said, like fluid gold. I identified with my ego and allowed me to take care of me better. I didn't have to rely on anyone else to do so. All right. So here we go. When you start working in pranayama, we've talked about in prior classes, vritti pranayama, samavritti, and visamavritti, which is the inhale, retention, exhale, retention to certain counts. 5 in, hold 5, exhale 5, hold 5. We're going to go through a couple cycles of that just to get everyone ready, and then we'll take us through the stages of Ujjayi breathing, and we'll start kind of working in those and developing a deeper practice with that. So close your eyes. Soften the mouth, soften the jaw. So the bottom row of teeth are behind the upper row. They're not clenched together. One falls back behind the other. Let the tension across your scalp descend back towards the back of the head. Let the weight of the brain fall to the back of the head. Let the eyes and all the muscle around them soften so it feels like they sink to the back. You notice when you start to take a breath in here, the lift of the rib cage allows you to take very soft diaphragmatic breaths. And when I mean diaphragmatic, it's not just that little space between the upper rib cage. The entire diaphragm starts at the top hip bones and is a large domed hood all the way to the top, or all the way to the bottom of the ribs. So when you take a breath, try to breathe, as Mr. Anger would say, from the top of the pelvic ribs up. So just take some soft breaths. Explore that for a moment. If at any time during this practice you find this irritating or constricting to your breath, go to soft abdominal breathing, the stage you're in right now. So we're going to fill both the stomach and the lungs for the first few rounds. Start prepping our nervous system for the work. I'll do the first few cycles of counting. 5 inhale, 5 holding the inhale, 5 exhale, 5 holding the exhale. So you're holding emptiness. And then 5 inhale. Keep breathing softly as I kind of give some pointers or instructions. Breathe only through the nose unless you're so congested. But I highly recommend you buy a neti pot right now. Just do not use tap water. Use filtered. If you have questions about that, I'll answer that at the end. But breathe only through the nose. And when you inhale, try to let your inhale be smooth and even. I like to use the visual example as if you've ever gone walking on a trail. The first few times you create a new trail, it's got rocks and plants on it. And the more times you walk over it, the rocks get pushed down into the earth, the plants go away, the weeds get torn out, and it's a very smooth trail for you to go through. Whether you're going down it to one direction and back the other, that's our breath. If we can let our breath, every inhale and exhale, be smoothing out that pathway, so there's no ups and downs, no hiccups, no random stops, no big trips on it. It's a smooth line throughout the entire thing. Holding our breath, whether holding the fullness or holding the emptiness, is like starting that trip or ending it at the end of the line. The movement of the breath is the transition. Holding it should be us being relaxed and calm in that space and just retaining it. But it can have a lot of fear come up or anxiety come up. Mr. Angar and the other senior teachers would say, these are the egos or the vritti trying to not let you do your work. We know that there is more oxygen. We know that you can let go. That is an unreasonable fear. Or one of the great vrittis, belief in something that is untrue. Even if you cognitively know, I can always breathe in, that me holding my breath or holding emptiness for 5 seconds, there's going to be something waiting for me. There's something deeper down that's something we need to smooth out. So the fullness and emptiness also becomes part of the pranayama of smooth, of evenness. Like liquid gold, right? Liquid is smooth. Like if it's untouched, it just levels out like an undisturbed lake. All right, you've all smoothed your breath out for a moment. So everyone take a nice deep breath in. When you fill your lungs up, take an exhale, long, let there be a slight noise to kind of signal you're reaching the beginning of your practice. And then breathe into the count of 5 following me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold that fullness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold emptiness for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe normally for a moment, keeping the eyes closed, and just let me offer you some insights that might have come up for you. When you were breathing in, exhaling, or holding emptiness or fullness, what was happening during that? Was there anxiety, tension, flexion coming up? Did you grip anywhere? Did you notice at the beginning when I asked you to release the muscles of the scalp, the eyes to relax and sink backwards, the forehead and the weight of the brain to fall backwards, and the bottom teeth to sit behind the upper teeth? Did any of that change? These subtle resistances aren't always going to be obvious. It's not always going to be a cramped hamstring or a tight back muscle. It's the small stuff, right? Just as we in class today, learned to move the toes, move the center of the heel. We learned how it creates big changes. So in this next round, be aware of all that stuff again, because that's a rock on your trail. Now it's something to smooth out so that the next time you traverse it, it's not there. So take a nice deep breath in, everyone. Exhale completely. Breathing into the count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold emptiness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold emptiness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold emptiness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe normally for a moment. Assess with yourself. Where were there stones or things along the way? Where were there hiccups? Was one part of your breath in faster than the other, or your exhale slower? Did you choke a little bit on the fullness or emptiness? Does your throat tighten? Can you soften it? Does something in the face respond to this work? Can you relax it, or in the hands or in the feet? Let this work be about the small things right now. Make small changes to create a cascade. It only takes a pebble on a mountain to start an avalanche. All right. So we're going to kind of emphasize the inhale for a moment. So the next breath in, I want to give you a little bit of insight to what to do with your eyes. When you're here breathing, it's about the eyes not turning up or out or even closed and looking around, but turn your eyes down and towards the tip of your nose and then close them. So actually use your eyes open for a moment, look down at the tip of your nose and then close your eyes over that and try to keep that. I find that if you try to do it with your eyes closed, you end up squinting a lot with the eyelid, but if you do it with the eyes open, look down, you can cognitively keep the softness of the eye, the muscle around the orb, and then let the eyes softly close over that. So there's a direction for that. Very good. When you breathe in on these next ones and everything after, Mr. Inger would say, when we breathe in, we're breathing in towards the inner tube up, and when we exhale, we're hitting the outer part of the tube down. So when you breathe in, just take a couple test breaths, not really holding it, not speedy. Just notice when you breathe in, if you breathe in with a certain awareness of the subtlety of it, you'll feel the coolness of the air hit the inner pipe up into the bronchial tube, just under the inner corner of the eye. When we exhale, you might feel the warmth hit the outer part of the tube or the outer nostril out. So it hits inner, outer, inner nostril, outer nostril, inner inhale, outer exhale. It's a cycle, it's a circle inside our own circulatory system. So when we breathe in, let it fill up the center line of the body. When we exhale, let the external come to the internal and then drop. All right, here we go. So take those two things. So since I've talked a lot, you've had to take in info. Open your eyes slightly. Turn the eyes towards each other like you're going to go cross-eyed. Look at the tip of your nose. Let the eyes close over that. Keep that. Let the eye descend backwards easily. And then take a nice deep breath. Feel the inhale hit the inner part of the nose. Exhale completely, preparing for pranayama. Quietly this time exhale. Feel it hit the outer nose. And then, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 1. Well, inhale. 1. Or is it exhale? Hold. I'm sorry. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold fullness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold emptiness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last round. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe normal. Very nice. Now, if you'll watch me for just a moment, I'm going to teach you one of the mudras with your hands across the face that's done in pranayama. It's called Sanmukhi Mudra. It's a fun one, and it's about changing the reception of sound, sight, and even feeling of our touch near our mouth. It's really interesting because if you do this right, it kind of seals off a lot of the visual auditory components, but it gives you the tactile feeling of what's going on. So the first position, don't actually do it or you won't hear me, is you take your thumb and it goes into your ear, not clamping over the ear or pushing that piece of cartilage shut. It's about the tip of the thumb going to the inside of the ear on each side. Once you do that, you can't hear. Right. So that goes like that. I'll do it with my right hand so you can follow along. The index and middle finger. The index finger goes on the eyelid just below the eyebrow. The middle finger goes at the bottom of the eyelid on the eyelash itself, and they just separate. This closes my eye from the middle finger pulling down. I'm not pushing on the eye itself. I'm just using my finger to drag the flesh of the eyelid down, using the index finger to draw it up. This actually cuts off a lot of sight Actually, you can't see out of it, but it keeps us from crunching, right? It keeps us from grinding the face shut. It keeps an openness there, but a complete shut, an openness of the pressure on the eye, but a shutness of visual. So we're here, thumb, index up, middle finger down. Ring finger on the nose does not push shut the nostril itself, thank you. But from the middle of the bridge of the nose, halfway back above the nostril, there's a soft spot that if you push the tip of your ring finger in there, you can't breathe very well. So you don't push it completely shut, or you're just gonna not breathe at all. So you just wanna softly press it. So you have your thumb in your ear, your index finger below the eyebrow going up, middle finger on the eyelid pulling down, ring finger above the nostril, gently pushing in to restrict it. You want to use it to slow, and then the pinky touches the corner of the lip. So if you are watching, it looks like this. Once you do that, you're out. It does amazing things to calm the sensory stuff. So for just a moment, experiment with it. I'll talk you through it. Yeah, of course, wash your hands. You should be working at home. If you've got hand sanitizer, be sure you wash your hands. I mean, I know that the coronavirus is like telling us not to touch our faces, but hopefully you've all been keeping yourselves clean at home. Please always take that responsibility for yourself. All right, so I'm going to go over it one more time. Thumbs go in the ears. Index finger below the eyebrow pulls up as the middle finger pulls the eyelid down. Ring finger goes to the nostril above it, gently presses. Pinky touches the corner of the mouth. Once you've got comfortable with that, lay down. I'm going to give you 30 seconds on that. Do it after you lay down. Don't like do it and then try to lay down like Tristan is. That's silly. We all got to fail for fun, right? We got to fail into joy. All right. Here we go. Thank you all for washing your hands, taking care of yourselves. Stretch your legs out, relax your body. This will be the last round. So make sure your thumbs are out of your ears for 10 more seconds as you kind of experiment while I give you those last few instructions. Still, turn the eyes down towards your nose. Relax the jaw. You're going to do one cycle on your own count. 5 in, hold 5, exhale 5, hold 5. That's it. And then I'll do the question and answer. So take a couple more seconds again. Index finger pulls the eyebrow up slightly. Middle finger pulls the eyelid down. Ring finger goes above the nostril and pushes it closed slightly. If you cannot breathe through the nose easily, you need to back off of how hard you're pressing it. But you should still have some level of like restriction. So you feel like you have to slow down the inhale or the exhale. And then pinky finger just rest on the corner of the lip. Nothing fancy. You got it? Plug your ears. Do your own cycle. All right. Should all be about finishing up. Very nice, everybody. All right. I'm going to unmute you. If you want to ask questions for a few moments, we're going to do it. So if you're on one at a time, try not to talk over each other. And if many people are talking all at once, I'll call out who gets to talk. So who has any questions for me?
Can you hear me, Dustin?
I can hear you.
Good. So if I get it correctly, it is actually the bone of the big toe but the joint of the little toe.
So when you're doing the standing poses, it is the
Yeah.
entire length of the big toe, the pinky toe joint, and the center of the heel are the 3 points.
Yeah, okay.
Because if you push the big toe bone down, that collapses the arch. But when you push, or the big toe joint, but when you push the length of the big toe down, it makes the arch lift and the plantar fascia lift, which is what stabilizes the ankle.
Amazing.
Good. Any other questions?
What
Doesn't sound like to me.
strap length do you recommend?
Strap length. I always recommend the 10-foot strap because, you know, anything a 6-foot and an 8-foot strap can do, a 10-foot strap can do with more strap. It just gives you a wider variety of things to do. And I always recommend getting the straps like we have some at the studio with the buckle, the plastic buckle like this.
Yeah.
So that way you don't have to unloop the strap from the buckle all the time. Saves you a lot of time, easy to get in and out of poses. Highly recommend.
We've got another question, Dustin.
Yeah, go ahead. Ask as many as you want.
Okay, on the pigeon pose,
Yeah.
with my hips, I was having a bit of trouble.
Sure.
I found that I needed more height, so I put 2 folded blankets over the bolster.
Yeah.
But if I kept the same height under both hips, it didn't work for me. I had to put more height under the front leg hip.
Okay.
Sense?
Okay. So what happens is you should always try to use equal height under each hip. The front leg hip usually requires more height because that's the tighter hip.
Yeah.
So whatever height you need to get your front leg hip to kind of open and relax into the pose, you should try to keep that same height on the other side. The other
Okay.
side, the back leg probably won't come level down because it's straight back. It's a
Yeah.
different shape of the pelvis. So in most of the times, pigeon pose, Prachapicha, the front leg hip will be the only part touching, and then the back leg is extending.
Okay, so that there was more weight on the front leg hip is normal.
Totally normal.
Okay, it's just that that's a lot of pressure on my hip replacement, so I might need an extra blanket.
Yeah, I would just keep building up. Like there's
Okay.
nothing ever wrong with building up higher. I
Okay.
used to, when I first started, I think I used 2 bolsters and a blanket for probably a year before I could move
Okay.
my hips down any degree at all.
Okay.
That really hurt my pride a lot, but you know, I got over it.
Okay, thanks. That should work. Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
When's the next class?
Next class I will teach will be Thursday at 6 o'clock. What's your question, Tristan?
I was wanted to flex your foot into
Yeah. Yeah.
but you said if you have knee pain, you should flex the foot.
So what's happening is that people are flexing their foot back too hard, or they're only flexing part of the foot back. Because when we flex the foot, we can either flex the whole length of the foot, the big toe and pinky toe side, or we only flex part of the foot and it ends up cyclical like this. It's curved and twisted, which puts a lot of pressure on the inner knee. That's where we get problems. So I would rather people learn to point their foot, which releases the muscles of the knee, and then learn to pull both sides of the foot back equally to stabilize the knee joint safely.
So if you're like trying to focus on the back foot, it's probably better for all of us to practice.
Mostly, yeah. I would say that's true. For right now, at least. I'll change my mind tomorrow. Anyone else? All right. Seems like people are taking off. Oh, we got a question in chat here. Let's see. Let's see if I can figure out how this works. From Leah to everyone. Thank you. Well, thank you, Leah. It's so nice to have you. I hope everyone's doing well in this time that's very challenging, but you know. I was talking to my longtime friends back in Missouri, who we all grew up either on farms or very insulated, nerdy lives, and we said, we've been training for this forever. To be isolated from society, ostracized, didn't even go to prom. This is my jam. She went to prom. She was the popular kid. But we find, I think that it's a good lesson that we all find things we've been through about sitting with ourselves, I remember being a kid and being much more comfortable sitting quietly with myself and my own imagination and my own thoughts. I know for me that's somewhat been difficult at times in my life as I've gotten older. So I think this is a good chance to get in touch with our inner child, to go play in the yard a little bit, to reconnect to that childhood part of ourselves that could sit with ourselves for quiet time. So I hope that everyone is finding that. And if you have any questions, reach out. My email's there. You can reach out through the studio or Dustin at austinyogatree.com. I'll try to answer emails as I can. Zoom calls are available. We're only going to get through this together, 6 foot apart at least, but we'll get through it together.